What's up guys, Matt here from Project Unbroken. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share this video with anybody that you know that's dealing with a difficult situation in life. Addiction, bad relationship, shitty job, depressed, whatever it is, there are ways to get out of it, and a lot of these things are really similar. So even if you're not struggling with addiction, which is a lot of what Greg and I talk about, some of these things may help you get through whatever you're trying to get through. And today I wanted to talk just about that. I want to talk about the different phases of growth. And from the comments that we get and the emails we get, a lot of you guys are stuck in this first phase. And that's because it's the most difficult phase to get out of. After you get out of this first phase, everything starts to get a little bit easier. You have momentum going, things start to tie together a little bit better. And I want you to stick around for this video because I'm gonna go through all 5 phases of growth, and I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks for getting to the next phase. Especially in the beginning, a lot of it is mindset related. And we have some trouble kind of getting stuck where we're at with our thought patterns. So 95% of the decisions you make every single day, every little decision you make, is based off of your subconscious. And your subconscious is really difficult to change. It's how we think about ourselves, it's our view of the world, and if we get into a bad spot, a lot of times those thoughts in our subconscious can be very negative, and it can get us into a fixed mindset where we start to think that things can't change and this is who we are and this is how it's always going to be. And that's definitely not the case. And that's what we have to do, and that's what we have to change to get through this phase 1. So we're going to go over to the whiteboard and we're going to talk a little bit about these different phases. Whoa, losing you there. There we go. So phase 1, and Greg and I have gone over this before, but just to recap. Phase 1 is friction. Friction is where you're at a certain point in your life with a situation, say it is addiction, or it's a bad relationship, or it's a bad job. You know that things aren't working out the way they should be. You know you're not feeling the way you should be, living the way you should be. This is phase 1. And why it's difficult to get out of phase 1 is because we're comfortable with that friction. At least it's not new, it's not change. A lot of times we're uncomfortable with change and we don't want to deal with all the shit that comes with change. So we stay in that friction and we're not happy. And a lot of times, I'll see on social media, it's people with, they're posting shit about how they hate their job or whatever they're unhappy with in their life. They don't understand that they can change it. And while it's not easy, there are certain things you can do to get out of this. And again, these things they seem difficult at first, but you have to put them into effect if you want something to change. Again, the old saying goes, if you keep doing the same old thing, you're going to keep getting the same old results. You're not going to get any new result from staying where you're at and staying uncomfortable, or staying comfortable being uncomfortable, I should say. So phase 2 is where, still a little bit early, my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Phase 2 is where we start to gain some momentum. And phase 2 is separation. So this is kind of where we kind of get the courage to really start making a little bit of a change here. See, make sure everything's in the picture. And this is where we start to separate ourselves from the things in our lives that are causing us friction. A lot of times, these things are people, but they can also be places and things. I'm going to go back to addiction because that's kind of how I frame this whole thing out. But again, it works the same for jobs, relationships, unhealthy relationships, whatever you want it to. For me, what was causing friction in my life was heroin and other addicts. So I had to separate myself from those two things in my life. And it's difficult because these addicts at the time were my best friends. They were people that I spent most of every day with. We built a bond together going through a lot of this stuff. So it's definitely not an easy thing to do to separate yourself, not to mention heroin. I'm addicted to it physically. Clearly not easy to separate myself from. But when you know there's enough friction that you can't manage your life in a sustainable way anymore, you got to get into that separation phase. So what can we do to make the separation phase a little bit easier? First, you have to clearly identify the things that you need to separate yourself from. Sometimes it's easier. If it's an unhealthy relationship, you at least know how to identify what you need to get out of your life. It's that person. If it is a unhealthy work environment or something that you're just really not happy doing, you need to separate yourself from that job or career path or whatever it is. Sometimes it's more difficult. Sometimes what's causing friction in your life might be a really close family member or a spouse or a sibling or somebody that's just really negative. That's when things get a little bit more confusing, but you have to understand we're never going to go from phase 1 to phase 2 until we start separating ourselves from the shit in our life that's causing us friction. That is the most important and most difficult step to get some momentum going. So, separation. Phase 3. This is when things start to get a little bit easier, and I'll explain why. And honestly, I think phase 2 and phase 3 are connected in a lot of different ways. A lot of times phase 3 will help phase 2, and that is attraction. So this is this is the phase of growth where you're kind of starting to get away from the things that are causing friction in your life, and you're starting to become attracted to more positive, healthy environments, activities, people, things that are going to bring you to a better place potentially. So for me, for instance, as I was trying to get away from this, I was attracted to fitness, health and fitness kind of things, because I knew that just intuitively that they were going to make me feel better. And again, a lot of my videos, I get into production of endorphins and dopamine, oxytocin and serotonin, and things we can do to maximize those naturally occurring chemicals and hormones in our bodies. And I knew exercise was going to do that for me. So that's what I started to become attracted to. As I did that, my focus turned more towards this healthy lifestyle, this healthier lifestyle, and these healthy activities. And in these activities were people that were on that same path, and they weren't these people, but they were in that complete opposite direction. So instead of thinking or talking about heroin and trying to get money and scheming people and shit like that, I started finding myself wanting to be around people that just had a way healthier mindset. And that actually brings me into phase 4 of growth. And that is integration. So now we're kind of getting away from the things that are causing us friction. That's, the separation has made it clear that we need to get away from this. The attraction has helped us get away from those people, and it's helped us with the second phase here. And the thing or the place or the environment or community that is what we're attracted to, then we start to integrate ourselves into that. So for me, again, it was kind of this health and fitness community. You guys, I'm sure a lot of you know, I'm in the CrossFit thing. I own a gym. But that didn't happen right away. It happened as I integrated myself into this healthy lifestyle community. I surrounded myself with people that were into the same things that I was into in that attraction phase, and I really started to get further and further away from this up top. This integration, my life was completely integrated. Now I'm like focused in on diet. I'm focused in on my fitness and my health on a really like macro and micro level. Everything I do, I'm starting to really think about this. That has me completely ingrained in this lifestyle. So I don't even think about heroin anymore. And again, if it's, some other issue that's causing you friction, by the time you're in phase 3, phase 4, you're not thinking about this shitty relationship, the person you're stuck with. You're not thinking about the job that was making you miserable, because you're completely focused on this thing you're attracted to, or this lifestyle that you're attracted to, and then you're integrating yourself into it completely. So now your focus has completely changed. You're not in this zone anymore at all. You're not thinking about it every day like you are when you're in phase 1 and maybe even phase 2. When you're up here, this is still on your mind. The things that are causing you friction, unhappiness, whatever you want to call it, they're still daily thoughts. When you get to phase 3, start finding things that you're interested in and that you might want to explore further, and then integration, when you know what you're interested in and you want to dive all in, this is a thing of the past. And you start to look at yourself and you're like, God damn, like why was I stuck thinking about this shit? And then phase 5 is elevation. So this, when you get to this phase, this is completely a thing of the past. The friction, the separation, these 2 steps being more difficult, these steps getting easier. When you're at elevation, this you don't even remember. And now what elevation is you're helping others climb the same ladder or go down the same path. So you might find somebody in your life that you see is stuck at phase 1 or phase 2, and you can help them, show them how to find things that they might be attracted to. You can show them how to integrate themselves into a healthier, happier lifestyle based off of things that they find enjoyable. Again, for me, it was health and fitness. For somebody else, it might be yoga, which is health and fitness, art classes, or learning how to be an artist or a musician, or taking cooking classes, getting a job in a kitchen, finding something you're passionate about, and completely getting into it, just immersing yourself into that lifestyle, which is integration. And again, once you get through these phases of growth, when you get to the elevation phase, you're happy and you want to help other people find their way through this path. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do and what Greg's trying to do with Project Unbroken. So again, a lot of us are stuck maybe in these 2 phases right here. All right, this is the difficult place to get caught up in, because again, the things that are keeping us there are always in our mind. They're at the front of our mind. We're thinking about them a lot, and it's kind of pulling us back and forth. To get this separation going and to get some momentum going, you guys really need to start exploring some things that you might be attracted to. And to get through this, it's going to take a lot of you having to get uncomfortable, going into places that you're not familiar with, gyms, whatever, schools, classes, and getting around people that you want to integrate yourself with. But you have to start saying yes. You have to start focusing on phase 3, especially for a lot of you guys that are watching this. I know that the Suboxone taper is a difficult process. For me to get off of Suboxone, before I got too far in the tapering process, I was really comfortable and deep into phase 3. I kind of knew where I wanted to go with my life, and that was allowing me to get away from the things that were causing friction, and it really helps me with the separation phase of growth. So this is what I want you guys to focus on. And just, what do you guys look up on YouTube? Like, what are things that you're interested in? Is it art or music or cooking, or maybe it's fitness? There's whatever it is. And I know I'm kind of stuck in my mindset, so I'm saying things that I like, but don't think it's a crazy thing for you to have something that you enjoy and you might be passionate about, become a way of life, maybe become your source of income. It can be the thing that you help other people find. It can be the way that you help other people get down to phases 3, 4, 5. And that's the goal. We want to get down to phases 4 and 5, and then we want to help other people that are at phases 1 and 2. And that's how the whole process continues. When we get down here, you're not finished. Like, we keep helping other people go through this same thing over and over again, and that is how we can have an impact on others, and that's how we can make this world a better place, which is what we're trying to do here. So, thank you for watching, guys. If any questions, comments, concerns about the phases of growth, hit me in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this video. We appreciate all the love and look forward to talking to you soon. See you guys.